Welcome, students, to our first Jose Productions Patriotic American series, a video inspired by our Ending Racial Indoctrination in America's Schools. Today, we cover the American Revolution, and there is no need to think too hard because this story is simple. Britain, bad. America, good. Let's begin. In 1776, after years of enduring the absolute tyranny of having to finally pay taxes, largely for a war the colonists helped start, the French and Indian War, the brave American colonists finally said enough and launched the greatest revolution the world has ever seen. Yes, events such as the Boston Tea Party and the tactics of the Sons of Liberty were controversial and debated at this time, but we all agree today that destroying private property in the name of some political motive is totally reasonable. A bit more context before moving on. You see, this French and Indian War started in 1754 when the big bad French and their Native American allies tried to stop British colonists from expanding westward, because for some reason, people already living on the land thought they had a say in who owned it. The British spent a fortune winning the French and Indian War and then rudely asked the colonists to help pay for it. Well, these colonists were prequel Americans, so these taxes just weren't gonna fly, and they began the patriotic, totally predestined march toward freedom. Led by the founding fathers, who were flawless geniuses, in July of 1776, America declared its independence with the Declaration of Independence, a document so perfect that it instantly granted freedom to everyone. Revolutionary unity was absolutely magnificent. Throughout the war, all of the colonies held hands. Northerners, Southerners, urban, rural, rich, poor, all sang the Star-Spangled Banner together. Except, of course, for the Loyalists, who made up about 20% of the population, or the estimated 1/3 that were neutral and didn't join the Patriot or Loyalist cause. And let's not forget about those enslaved individuals who were really interested in this whole liberty idea, so much so that thousands of them ran away to join the British, who at least pretended to offer them freedom with the Dunmore Proclamation. And you know the founding fathers made sure to take care of the American women that helped out in the American Revolution by serving as the backbone of the colonial boycotts, helped bolster supply lines, and awaken political activism. American women were rewarded for their efforts not with voting rights or full equality, but instead John Adams read a letter from his Queen Abigail that reminded him to remember the ladies. I felt that. Now back to the war. The war itself was an epic, glorious march to victory, where brave American militias single-handedly defeated the mighty British Empire, totally without the massive military and financial assistance of any allies. You know how America do, individualistic. Now, some historians might claim that the Battle of Yorktown only happened because the French trapped the British Navy, but that's just unpatriotic global elites trying to get you to think more than is necessary. America wins wars on sheer freedom alone, and maybe some guerrilla warfare. Of course, no review of the American Revolution would be complete without the perfect, flawless leadership of Jorge Washington, leader of the Continental Army and our first president. George Washington, a man so noble that he never made mistakes, never told a lie, and certainly didn't violently put down tax revolts against his own government just a few years after the revolution. Anyone want some whiskey? And there definitely wasn't any Prussian military guy named Baron von Steuben that helped train the Continental Army into a legit fighting force. Americans don't need help, especially from some made-up place like Prussia.